Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. How do you like democracy? And I'm talking about France. France, we have a president that he just decided to bypass the parliament and just say, you know what, I will just do it myself, you all. And I'm talking about the pension reform, the so-called pension reform, from increasing the pension, the retirement age from 62 to 65, 64, something like that. But it's going to be more than that. Anyway, it's just going to increase the pension. From which increases the retirement age to 64. That's great. And I have this article where we have obviously Macron, who is a Democrat and he will love democracy. And he, instead of waiting for the parliament to vote on this proposal, he just decided, you know what, I am the state. Boom. What happened? The French people, the French nation, if there's such a thing. Sorry, my friends, I visited France and I kind of know. I look at the studies and I realized that the French nation is stronger than ever. And you know why? Because diversity. Congratulations. So there we have a lot of riots now in Paris, yesterday and today, because Macron is a Democrat and he said, you know what, I am going to make a decision, which I'm okay with that, but you have to stop playing the game of we have a democracy and all that. He did it legally. But that's a weasel way of implementing or at least signing and pushing everybody. And that's a main decision. I think that France should have a referendum on that. Should have a referendum and see what the people say, not one people say. Okay, I want the many people versus one people, and this is Macron versus the state, which he dominates. So this is how these tyrants do. When things don't go their way, they really don't like democracy. Well, you can say, well, Emil, time out, weasel Emil. He was elected. Yeah, can you tell me his approval rating? GG, Red Rover, bring it on. What, 31%, 29%? That means he doesn't have the authority. Do you? If we talk about democracy and elections, he's got what, 29, 39? Do like two searches, all right, and find out his approval rating. Now, if I would say, hey, I lead in the name of 30% of the population, what would you say? No. But somehow this guy makes this kind of decision with a very low approval rating. He knows he's getting out of the office. He knows that. So he can just go down in flame. And still, the mass media and the weasel will say, Macron was excellent. Oui. All right, c'est vrai. Let's see this little article here. And I have more than one to show you how these guys are covering for Macron. We have the mass media covering, calling this like a historic event. Russia Today, yes, the usual suspects here. This is March 16. This is a yesterday is dead and gone, okay? Riots erupt after Macron raises retirement age. The French president forced his controversial pension reform bill through without a full vote in parliament. So again, remember this thing. In a democracy, you vote one time, they do whatever they want. You can go in the street and do what those guys doing right now in Israel. And they're doing for what, 2 months already about the justice, whatever, judicial reform and blah, blah, blah. Justice reform or judicial, I'm not certain which one it is. But anyway, let's put it this way. There are 2 months, I think, they've been in the street with this and that. Do you think those guys just, hey, I'm going to show up over there? And Netanyahu say, no, you know what, guys? You. Now, which one is going to be? What are you going to do? Go in the street? Look what the French did. For about, 2 months already, they've been in the street, in and out. Millions of people. And Macron was drinking his soybean drink, latte. Oh la la. What do you think? Hey, baby doll, come over. Let's go. Shades down. Boom. You know what I mean? That's what he did. And those guys were like, hey, no pension. That's what they did. And after that, they get, I'm going to go home. I'm cold. I'm tired. And Macron is like, yeah. That song like I'm too sexy for Macron's gonna be dancing in front of the window. I'm too sexy for you guys. I'm too sexy for you guys. Yeah. Let's go back to this article. I'm getting off track here. French President Emmanuel Macron bypassed Parliament and enacted a controversial pension reform package on Thursday, triggering riots and arson on the streets of Paris. The move, which raised France's retirement age to 64, a referendum, that's what you do, had already caused months of strikes and protests. Macron invoked a special constitutional power to pass the bill, immediately before a vote was set to take place. So he cut the line. Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne announced the decision in the National Assembly as opposition lawmaker booed. Yeah, that's all you're gonna do. You play over there, jeered and sang. Okay, that's all you're gonna do. The guy's gonna be dancing in front of the window. I'm too sexy for you guys, and that's it. So, under the power invoked by Macron and Borne, the bill is considered passed unless a majority of lawmakers file a motion of no confidence against the government in the next 24 hours. I didn't hear that happening. Right-wing leader. Why do you call her far-right leader, wing leader? Marine Le Pen said that her National Rally party would back such a motion, and as did a number of leftist leaders. See, right? With left together. That's good. It's good. They put a little show in front of the French people, like, "Hey, we're gonna fight for you," and the French will, we get your pitchforks and your little. Let's go to take care of Louis the 16th, right? Yeah, let's and get Marie as well, not Le Pen, Marine Le Pen, Marie Antoinette. It's not gonna happen. No, they are, no. So this is the pension, the retirement, raising the retirement from 62 to 64. Now let's go to this one. This is an article of showing how Macron is a potent little dancer. French President Macron, this is from yesterday, remember yesterday, is setting an example, and all this is positive towards Macron. Raising the retirement age could solve financial and demographic problems, even if workers hate the idea. Okay, whose fault is for solving the problems? Who created the problems? It wasn't this guy right here when his government, he's been in place for at least 5 years. So what the hell are you talking about? He was a financial minister, wasn't it? The Minister of Finance of France. So he was in charge of your money, my compatriots. Okay, now they gonna solve. They create a problem. Financial demographic problem. Who created the financial and demographic problem? Hey, Macron, you are part of the problem, and you solve it by what? Dumping it on the French people. And they're gonna try here to make the case. You can read it if you want. I'm not gonna. I read it here and there. Let's go to this one. Sputnik, related to the same thing. Over 200 people detained during protest against pension reform in Paris. Do you remember how these weasels urged Iran to release the detained people because their human rights were violated during those protests? Remember that one? First, let's put it here. they have a little party right here. Now, let me give you this. I do not support violent protests, that's for sure. They don't work. Why? Because the other guys got the guns. So if they want to use them in name of national security, they could. Right? So I'm not saying people should not go and protest, and if you're free, you act however you think fit, and there are consequences for each and every action we take. So that's true for them too. But I don't care. Why? Because they have the oppressive system ready, they got the money ready, they got the mass media ready, and you have what? This, and you get the number. That's what you got. So remember how these weasels were blaming Iran, which was, how should I put it, justified. Hey, what happened? But those were rioters, some of them too. They were not only peaceful protesters. The guys who were rioters were arrested. Probably abuses occurred. Not probably, I'm certain abuses occur. Like they occur everywhere. But the problem is right now, everything is, you're not going to hear any other country saying, hey, France, you are infringing these guys' liberties and rights and all that. No, no. But what you see on the street, they show you that, okay, oh my God, look what these guys did. Yeah, that's awful. That should not happen. But hey, demographics. I remember those riots in Paris in 1935, I think. And I think in 1948, I remember those riots. Do you remember them? No? Because they weren't. But hey, what do you want? Things change. We're progressing. We're progressing towards something. So yeah, bring them on. Let's move on back to this beautiful article here, I would say. So let's see what happened. The French police have detained over 200 people at protest. Maybe the French police would be called phobic, East and all that. Against the controversial pension, however, they're not going to be called anything because the French police works with the mass media, works with the leaders. That's the whole connection. We'll see. French media reported on Thursday in central Paris. Okay. Earlier in the day, French Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne said that the government had adopted a law on raising the retirement age from 62 to 64 years by invoking Article 49.3 of the Constitution, which allowed the government to pass the bill without parliamentary approval. Well, if you have to do this, that means your bill is not popular. Then it's like, I know better than everybody else kind of thing, and I'm going to do it for your benefit because I care for you. The latest figures released by reports suggest some 217 people have been arrested, although the tally is expected to increase as protests continue. Police units are chasing several hundred protesters who scattered. Yeah. According to the France Bleu broadcast, Bleu, some 10,000 people gathered in the city of Toulouse, where police used tear gas against the protesters. Oh my God, that's awful. And the protesters. Now, protests were also held in Bordeaux, Lyon, Grenoble, Lille, Nancy, Metz, Nantes, Toulon, Amiens, Le Havre, Montpellier, and Rennes, where police have also been dispersing demonstrated with the use of tear gas. It must be Putin. So this is, according to this is what these guys are doing when they can't convince the people, and their policies are garbage. Then they do it stealthy like this, which is not that stealthy. According to the poll held by Harris Interactive for the TF1 broadcaster, 82% of the French oppose the government's decision to adopt the law on raising the retirement age without a vote in the parliament. I thought it was the democracy is the will of the people, the majority. You have 82%. Hey. At the same time, 71% of French citizens supported a no-confidence vote in the incumbent government. The 65% of the French were in favor of continuing the protest. So, my friends, what do you want? Let's see here. What do you think, or how should we take care of all this system that we are in, where you vote? You're asked to go and give them the the legitimacy, the apparent legitimacy of ruling over us for 5 years, 4 years, depends how long their terms are. And then they go over there and they do things that you don't want, when actually they're over there to do what you want. They are representing you. They're not leading you. They're representing. Get it in your head. They're over there to represent you. Your wishes. Well, if your wishes are 81% of you, in a democratic system, that should mean something. That means we don't agree with your decision. And it's the consequences that's going to be, okay, you want that? I'm going to do this for you. This is how leaders should do, okay? Or representatives. Okay, what's your decision? Let's make a referendum. Organize one, come, make the decision. It's going to have a bad outcome. Do you think the weasel is going to come in the street and say, oh, it was bad? Yeah, okay. Who voted? You voted. I did it. Okay, what should we do about this one? Okay, and you ask them for their opinion. You explain. You get in a debate. You have to convince people that your how should I put it? Your policies are right. Are gonna benefit the people. But again, who created the problem? They forget about that. They forget about it. And those weasels in the French parliament, they're going to be weasels. They're going to just play, yes, let's do this. Yeah, let's do this. And then what? And then what? Remember, if this thing with retirement goes in, this is what I expect for the next person. If Macron beats it and gets out, I want the next person, the French, who said, yeah, that was wrong, when he gets in that position to repeal that policy. I want that gone. And you're not going to see that. Why? Because it's a game these guys are playing. Because if let's say Macron, these people now, the parliamentarians who say, okay, no confidence vote, get him out, next one. Let's say the next one, yeah, I'm going to change things. Well, when you get over there, I want to see change, done, over. It's not going to happen. You're done. I think you're toast. It's going to be a little bit of about 2-3 months of asseyez-vous s'il vous plaît, let's talk a little bit here and there, and that's it. After 2 months, you go home and you're going to have retirement at 64, guaranteed. Unless you got Le Pen, which I don't know if she's going to be still even though she's not, but you know what I mean. And she goes over there and said, yes, I'm going to change it. And I think she's one of the only ones over there who might be a real person in, I say this, I do this, which used to be basic for a normal person. Nowadays, I do this, I do the other thing, is considered a smart thing to do. No, we changed our civilization, we changed our values, we changed our principles. And hey, you got Macron, you got Scholz, you got Biden, you got Boris Johnson, you got Sunak, you got all these guys. Hey, and the other guys got Putin. So I think we're better, aren't we? Better off. Yeah, thank you very much. Look what's going on with the banks now. That's all because of Putin, I'm pretty sure. And Putin right now is dancing with his Moscow girls. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.